This video will show you how to thread the Pfaff Ambition Essential sewing machine. What you're going to need is your spool of thread, and mostly in our class we're going to be using this kind of thread that is wound on the thread spool in a crisscross fashion. If you have instead this kind of spool where the threads just go horizontally up and down the spool, you're going to load this slightly differently, but I'm going to show you how to use this kind. What we're going to do is we're going to find and raise the spool pin to the upright position. You're also going to need the spool cap. They come in two different sizes here. If you can't find yours, it might be because it's already been inserted onto your spool pin, so just take it off. You're going to load your spool onto the spool pin and then put the cap on. Next, you're just going to lay it flat. So make sure that your spool pin is flat and the cap is on tightly, because this spool of thread does not actually have to spin around as the thread is coming off. You'll notice that the thread comes off even without the spool having to spin. So we want it nice and firmly on. We're going to take a look at the thread guides that you need to go through to thread the machine. There are small arrows engraved into the plastic that you can follow for the general direction of where the thread is going to go. So the first place is right behind here. And you do need to take two hands and hold your thread tight, kind of like you're flossing, and bring this behind that thread guide. It needs to snap in. So you should hear it when you've done it correctly. For the rest of the thread guides, they're mostly just hooks that we can go around. So we're going to go to the left over here for the second thread guide and just hook it behind that thread guide. And then we're going to go to the front of the machine. We're going to follow this gap here down the front underneath this U-shaped plastic portion over here. Just hook it underneath, and then you're going to need to go up and around from right to left. So in this direction, around your thread take-up lever here. If you don't see the thread take-up lever, all you need to do is turn the hand wheel until you see it. This lever basically just moves up and down as the sewing machine is running. So if you don't see it right now, that just means it's hidden underneath here, and then you need to turn the hand wheel and bring it above the surface so you can put your thread through. I'll show you that one more time from back up here. Step 1. Step 2, around the back. Step 3, down the front, underneath the U, and then around the thread take-up lever. And then we're ready to thread over by the front of the machine. And you might want to turn your machine on for this part, just because then you get some extra light. So we're going to look for this metal bar over here. So this is another thread guide. There's a hook and it opens on the right hand side. So you just need to take your thread and put it behind over on the right hand side. And then we're going to look for a smaller hook over by the needle. It's kind of square shaped over here. And you're just going to have to hook it on the left side. So go to the right for the big one and then the left for the small one, and you'll notice that it points our thread right in the direction of the needle. From here, you can lower your presser foot and thread your needle from front to back. If you're having trouble, don't forget to cut a nice fresh cut on your thread, and you should be able to poke it right through from front to back into your needle, and then you can pull on it a little bit more just to give yourself a little bit of extra thread here so you don't find that it gets lost.